to Daybreak Live on Dominion Television Ibadan. Muluwayemi Adelakun.
And I'm Anuluapo. Thank you for starting the week with us today. And of course, it's going to be a wonderful day and a week to look out for.
Exactly. A major shift in the education sector leads our broadcast this morning as the federal government approves a staggering 82% hike in registration fees for both WAEC and NECO examinations.
So this directive means millions of parents, guardians, and prospective candidates across the nation must now brace for a significantly higher financial burden to secure basic secondary school certifications. And the sudden upward review forces immediate uncomfortable questions regarding the affordability of public education, the future of the Nigerian child, and the broader economic pressures crushing average households.
With household budgets already stretched to their absolute limit, what are the long-term implications of this steep increase on student enrollment and school dropout rate? And is the state systematically pricing the poor out of basic education opportunities? That is our Daybreak gist this morning.
So absolutely. In the short while, we will take you through the newspaper headlines and analysis, where today's front pages capture the stories driving conversations across politics, security, education, governance, and the economy. We also examine the major headlines and the issues making the biggest impact across the country.
And later on the program, our big story focuses on national security, the preservation of human life, and the state's primary constitutional duty to protect its people. Our topic is safe rescue. A bigger questions: is Nigeria winning the fight against kidnapping? While tactical operations by security forces frequently celebrate the safe rescue of abducted victims, the unrelenting recurrence of these high-profile kidnappings paints a more complicated picture.
Local communities, highways, and even urban centers continue to navigate a landscape of fear, leaving citizens for questioning the depth of our preventive intelligence and the capacity of policing frameworks and the root as well and the root causes driving this lucrative criminal enterprise. Are these celebrated rescues a definitive sign of tactical victory, or are they merely reactionary band-aids on a deep-seated structural failure? What structural changes must be enforced to transition our security apparatus from emergency response to total deterrence? Joining us to explore these questions is APC stalwart Honorable Omolaja Olawe.
And before we leave you this morning, we revisit some of the stories, reactions, and conversations continuing to attract attention across the country. Welcome to Daybreak Live and Dominion Television.
Absolutely. Good morning to you, Yemi.
Good morning.
This morning.
And
I think the bone of contention this morning, well, we would say the feast on the table of reasoning. This one, it's about education, and I think it's at the heart of governance, and it's also something every other person in the country should speak to, because it's something that will build the nation, it's something that would help the nation to move forward. And of course, we have to talk about it. And maybe just to add to the point that, of course, certain issues. One is that this speaks to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal Agenda 4, which is quality education. And of course, it's a requirement. It's necessary for any nation that is seeking long-term growth. And that's one. But the unfortunate issue is the United Nations tally that we have, the UNESCO data that we have of the out-of-school children, about 18.1, depending on what you're citing. And that seems to be a problem. So if you have the bulk of the Nigerian youth as we speak is filled with young minds, like youth have the highest population. And so if the youth that are supposed to have the highest population don't get adequate education, how do you intend not to encourage what they call Olodo uprising? I mean, it's going to be a conversation maybe much later after now. I know we're still joking about it, but someday, somehow, the scale of intelligence, the scale of education can be eroded almost completely, that an average person you speak to would not have the quality of mind to have a feast of reason, would not have the cognitive capacity to engage in critical conversations that can drive the nation forward. And that seems to be unfortunate. I hate to call it a prophecy, but it's a wrong prophecy, but I hope it doesn't happen. But then the conversation is around candidates paying more as federal government approves 82% hike in WAEC and NECO exam fees. But just a breakdown of that is that the federal government has approved a new fee of 50,000 naira per candidate for WAEC and NECO SSCA, effective from 2027 examination cycle. Now, for 2026, just a brief into that, the current rate as we speak is WAEC is 27,000 naira for a candidate, while NECO is 22,250 naira for NECO candidate. Now, that's roughly an 82% jump from the 2026 WAEC rate. So the question would be, why 82%, right? And I think I was checking into the body of the story, and I was trying to look out for why they said this should happen, but I'm not sure I've found so many reasons. But I've also brought out a way to see, okay, so how do we say this at a time when people are currently faced with hardship and a lot of insecurity? What do we say about this? Then I discovered, now, this is a development, but it will only be a development if certain things are in place. For example, if it has to be that they are improving the standard of the education in terms of the examination in this wise, if there's going to be an upward improvement as to what is likely to happen, the experience, the lived experience of an average student that is going to partake in the exam, and then maybe the consequentiality of these examinations when you talk about standard practice, when you talk about global relevance and all of that. So we have to say, so I was trying to look out for examinations that are quite expensive, and I know for one, the standard of Cambridge exam, for example, is very high. I know some, I think about $150 is what you would have to pay to get a Cambridge exam done. But then anyway, I'm looking out for, if you want this to be a standardized system where it can compete globally, I love that. While that is a development, there are other issues that we must also concern ourselves with. Can states or can parents and guardians, can they pay this much? We also know of states like Taraba State, for example, who pay for a good number of their students because they do not have capacity. In fact, just a breakdown of that, I was checking into the implications of the hike, and I'm seeing that, you know, okay, so maybe I should also first start from the minimum wage, which is about 70,000 naira. So if a parent if a parent has a twin, right, and then you have two of your children about to write the same examination, and you earn, let's take it away from 70, let's just say about 120,000. How much is left for you to feed on if you pay for that month, right? Or parents now need to save up. But whichever way, I'm saying compared to the minimum wage, it's a lot. 50,000 to 70,000 naira. How do you intend to do that? But anyway, that's going to be a problem. And again, in Ebonyi, for example, in previous years, 80% of prospective candidates couldn't pay due to the high fees that has been claimed to be, you know, 27,000 naira for some of them is still a lot of money. So some parents, about 82% of candidates, prospective candidates in Ebonyi State, that's for context, could not pay that. Now, the dropout risk is also alarming because there's a chance that late registration would happen, and maybe a lot of persons just say, well, so what's the point? Mama, my child, come and go to the market, let's go and do business. It's better off this thing that is taking or gulping a lot of money. And, you know, so most students will have to delay, miss deadlines, and even some of them will drop out eventually. And we talk about the out-of-school children. It's a lot to deal with, right? You don't want to add this to the problem. And of course, increased burden on state. Like I was saying, Taraba State, you know, had to release about 1.39 billion naira for about 39,536 WAEC students, and about 1.61 billion naira for NECO as well. You know, so what do we expect from this? More states will have difficulty sponsoring candidates. And so what does it mean? It goes back to the parents, to the guardians. They have to look for the money. So where do they get the money? Is there an increase in their pay? These are questionable things, right? And I'm also saying that for private institutions or private schools in that wise, they pay more. Private schools, an average private school pay 250,000 or 300,000 for WAEC. So now what do you expect? They would need to increase the tally. So if it's from 250, now if they have to pay 400 or 300 or 350,000, that's a lot on the parents' end too, right? There are many things that are attached to this thing. While it is a development, there are certain things we should also tackle. We cannot just leave this at the table of parents and say, you guys deal with it. Let's have a more concrete that, let it be a case of value for your money. What if I am paying 50,000 naira to write WAEC? Let it be a standard WAEC. Let it be void of malpractice. Let it be void of insecurity. Let it be. We've seen cases recently where students have to write examination inside a place where, you know, it's just one light bulb that is, you know, giving light, and then you wonder, what is this? They are even writing late into the night because someone could not bring the papers to the center immediately. And so there's a lot of things they might want to fix. Why? I'm saying it's a good one. It's a development if it measure up to the standard of global practice or standard practice or global education standard across the world. And so that's a good one. But can we also tackle the issue of inflation, the issue of minimum wage and some other things for parents to also have a breathing edge over this development?
Right, so let me take it from the angle of out-of-school children. We have about 18 million out-of-school children in Nigeria, and I think it's really sad. So if care is not taken with this new development now, in the next 5 years, it might increase, to maybe, God forbid, maybe 25 million, but then let's just be real. Because at the end of the day, I remember many years ago, 10, 15 years ago, a lot of persons could not afford to pay, and that the amount was not even up to date at that time. And then because I love to surf the internet, just to feel the pulse of the people. Beyond the fact that it's fun, I think it helps me understand the job, And then I found out that a lot of Nigerians are not taking this well. While some persons are comparing Nigeria with other countries like UK, like US. See, I really do not understand why you'd decide to compare Nigeria with other countries in a situation like this. And I saw some persons, they tweeted and said, oh, well, to write a final exam in the UK or the US, you have to pay this amount, you have to pay $500 and things like that. It's nothing compared to what people are asked to pay in Nigeria. And you look at the peculiarities. It's okay to compare, but then you look at the peculiarities before you compare. Some persons now said it appears there's an attack, concerning education in Nigeria, and then they were able to give certain reasons. Recently, the cutoff mark for JAMB was reduced. And then people are still complaining that if you check the quality of students that are graduating these days, sometimes you wonder. There was a time the lecturer was asking a student in class, under-level student, what secondary school did you even attend? Because, for you to still have this kind of mentality and deal with issues like this, these are the problems. Because if the foundation is faulty, there's no way you cannot escape certain consequences in life. And then talking about out-of-school children, if care is not taken, the number might go up. And then when I read the report, I found out that according to the leadership of NECO and WAEC, they said they had a meeting with the Ministry of Education, I think March 31st this year. And then according to the minister, he directed that they should make sure that the fee is uniform for both NECO and WAEC. That is 50,000 or 82% increase at once. I don't know, because we talk about democracy in Nigeria, we talk about feeling the pulse of the people. I don't know why that decision was taken at once. 82%. Yes, private schools pay more, but then how many? If you check the percentage of students in public schools and try to compare with the ones we have in private school, you discover that we have more students in the public schools. And someone even said online, and it caught my attention, that in a situation like this, would the federal government now come out to say, okay, we want to start a loan scheme for students in secondary school as well, because we have it for people in the university and the polytechnic, and then they tend to get loan from that from the federal government, and then we hope to pay back later. So we cannot continue to create difficult situations for the people. Yes, there are other things to look at when it comes to WAEC and NECO. Talk about certain subjects. Some persons are saying, I listened to one of my mentors a few years back, and he said some of the subjects that students still go through in secondary school, it should be stopped, and then they should introduce more subjects. And then beyond that, certain parents protested last year. Why? Because of the late night exams. Because when I wrote WAEC, I don't think I wrote any exam beyond 6 p.m. And then I found out that parents will have to go to the center. They will have to wait outside past 7 to 8. People are still writing the exam. These are the areas to look at. Beyond increasing the fee of the student, let's talk about their safety first. In the north, there was a video that circulated online last month. Students were running eta for their lives, and they were supposed to prepare for exams. And then you imagine those students will write the exam, and then you say their result is not good. Because, the environment is very important too. A popular philosopher says something, that you cannot take out the environment from anybody. The environment where you are, where you study, what you're exposed to, will determine your level of success. Education, no car, anything. It is very important. So if these children at that stage or at this stage are still experiencing things like this, I think we should be more intentional as a country. I'm not saying it is totally wrong to have decided to increase the fee, but at the end of the day, we should be considerate, because just like I said, some parents could not even afford to pay 27,500. Some had to tell their children, wait till next year when we can afford it. Some had to borrow money. And then you didn't factor all of this into consideration. You're not talking about the biting inflation in the country. And then you're just looking at the fact that how come the private schools, they are charging as high as 300, 250 and things like that. So 50,000 should not be a big deal to some parents. No, you don't generalize. You should factor certain things into consideration before taking an action. But at the end of the day, we have to be more intentional about education, because any country who fails to invest in education, they will bear the consequences, and it might be so dire. And that's the problem, because if you look at countries like UK and US that people are comparing Nigeria with, you discover that some of them don't even go to the university. Why? Because it's expensive. But then if you listen, or if you sit down with the college student, see, you have to be strong as a university graduate to be able to have conversations with them, because these people, they know a lot. If you check their curriculum, you can't begin to compare it to what we have in Nigeria. So a lot of them, they don't even go to the university, and they are okay, they are sound. When you listen to them talk, you will know that they went through a thorough process, not just go to school and come back. They went through school because of the certain subject that they do. So I think we need to improve what we do in Nigeria as well. Speaking about the curriculum, speaking about the subjects. See, at this point, if we need to cancel some subject, I don't think anybody will die, basically. And then introduce certain subject that can make the lives of these people better. If some persons are even calling for, even at the university level, some courses, they are not really doing so much for the society. You see, I've seen videos online of some Chinese students, American student doing big things in 13-year-old, 14-year-old, and then it's hard to see something like that in Nigeria. But then recently we've seen examples of some students, 13, 14, making us proud as a nation. How do we encourage these people? I don't think it's wrong to have increased the fee, but at the end of the day, let's make sure that the environment is conducive for these people to learn, both the poor and the rich.
I think your points are so valid that I'm already, I would like to maybe add a few points to some of the things you've said. And it's very important that we note out what we should now profess that the government can do, and do a bit of solutions journalism, right? Almost everybody can tell this is going to bite hard on the parents, guardians, and every other person involved who has a child or two or more. And this is a conversation. But I think one of the very important things we do is that we take it, the Ministry of Education should take it a step further. Instead of just staying with the examination level, let's go back to the universities, or the secondary schools, I mean to say, and the primary school as well. Let's look out at, for the curriculum, right? There are a lot of things that need to be changed. This is 2026. There are a lot of countries who have gone ahead of us, and we know we can also go there. We can do, especially when it comes to education. Can we have digital certificates for these people that are writing the exam, or even before the examinations, right? What is the state of our secondary schools? How well can they measure up to global standards and global practice? That is one thing we should say. We should have a conversation on. And I'm going to say just a few points now. The first thing is that I'm thinking the federal government must have something they call a national fund for indigent students. And this is going to really help, like Taraba State is doing and some other states are trying to do, to pay a bit of subsidy for that kind of amount that students will have to pay. And that's one. And just a brief into that as well. I will also maybe add to that precept to say, now, if this hike will be reasonable, if it will be acceptable, one, we need a lot of orientation too. We need to go out around town, tell parents why you're doing this, and let information go out before this policy begins, right? Let's begin. So that's one of the things I'm professing that we should do. And let it also be that there's visible service upgrades in the education sector, especially in the examination sector. Let CBT results come out, let it be fast, let it be clear. Let us have digital certificates for some of them who would like to have it on their mail and then send to universities or institutions they want to apply to. I think let's upgrade the system, let's optimize the system, and let's go a step further. That's one. Two, financial safety net, right? We should also have that as state and federal government subsidies for low-income schools, right? Let's have funds for these things. Let's subsidize for some of the students that might not be able to pay. And most importantly, full transparency on how the 50,000 naira is going to be used, right? You don't want to collect money from me without telling me what the purpose of it, because I mean, it's a no-brainer. People say, and a very wise man, Dr. Masmur, once said that if the essence of a thing is not known, then abuse is inevitable. So let's know why you're calling for 50,000 naira, and let it be clear as to how you intend to spend every dime.
Yeah, I think I should also add that because of the new implementations that they are planning for 2027, they will definitely need more funds. At the end of the day, maybe that's why they decided to increase the fee. And so people would like to hear what they want to do with the money, and just to ensure the safety of the students, and then ensure that they are comfortable even while writing the examination. It's a fine place to leave that discussion this morning, and we take a short break. When we come back, we move on to the big story. We'll be right back.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live? Like never before. Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram @Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment.
Every life safely rescued is a victory worth celebrating, but every kidnapping prevented is an even greater triumph. Welcome to the big story. I'm Oloyemi Adelakun. After 56 agonizing days in captivity, the abducted puppies and teachers from Orire local government area of Oyo State have finally regained their freedom. Their rescue has rightly been celebrated as a major victory for Nigeria's security agencies, following an intelligence-led operation that reportedly secured their release without ransom or prisoner exchange. But beyond the celebrations lies a more difficult national conversation. If dozens of school children could be abducted in the first place, has Nigeria truly turned the tide against kidnapping? Or are we simply becoming more effective at responding after lives have already been endangered? Our focus this morning is safe rescue. Bigger questions: is Nigeria winning the fight against kidnapping? And joining me to examine the security implications, the policy gaps, and what must change going forward is APC's stalwart, Honorable Malaja Olayo. Welcome this morning.
Good morning to you, Yemi, for having me here today. And people at home who are watching us, I say good morning to you all.
Okay, so Honorable, how did you receive the news over the weekend? I mean, we saw how they were rescued, the celebration across the nation, even outside of Nigeria.
I'm very delighted. So many Nigerians are very delighted. And those people who have their children and their wards and their parents there, they are very delighted as well, most especially people from your state. So, and a lot of people in Nigeria as well. So it is a welcome development, and it is a beginning of good things to come.
Okay, so according to the federal government, ransom was not paid. And so some Nigerians, this is their concern. This is a good development according to them, because there was no exchange of prisoners, no ransom was paid, and they are saying this is the way to go. We need to put an end to ransom. And they are alleging that maybe because the federal government and other state governors have been paying ransom before, maybe that's why it has become an enterprise. And then kidnapping has been such a terrible thing going on in this country.
I think this is the first things like that happen in Southwest. Particularly, it has happened in Ekiti State, and we can see how those people were rescued as well. We know that in Ekiti State there was a driver life that was lost, and this one incident as well, there's a child life that was lost as well. In Ekiti State, they still took back the ransom that were paid to the kidnappers at the end of the day, because they can be able to give. They use something a technique to be able to track them, and they got them. So it is when you are talking about regional things or probably based on where the things happen, it is you must know that this Southwest is we are equipped with information, and with that information we can be able to give data and necessary information to those security agents who are able to work upon it. Now, it is not that they don't know where those children are. They know they were in Oyo Park. They know, and the location of the place is so vast. So at the end of the day, they can be able to use their technical know-how, how they have been trained, to be able to corner them in all angles, so they cannot be able to move. So that alone it gives them much work to work upon. They know particularly the area they are, so all they need to do is to block all the entries, and that is what they did. And
but some of those kidnappers escaped. So if truly the security operatives blocked all the escape routes, how come some were able to escape?
Yes, we are told some are being able to escape, but we are not. It is not verifiable. Let's be sincere with ourselves. Because the way the security,
the security operator said is not.
Yes, that is what I'm saying. For those people who are captured, they are going to have their. I mean, in one way or the other, probably their phone, and they know how they are going to be able to trace those people who are escaped as well. Some can be able to escape. For the fact that all the children were being rescued and the teachers as well, that is a very clear law. Whatever the security agents are going to do when you are talking about those that fails, it is different ball game.
Okay, now let's talk about the demands of the kidnappers even before the rescue. I think according to security operators, about 2 kingpins were arrested last year, and that's Mahmoud Mohammed Usman, also known as Abu Bara, and of course who is the leader of the Ansaru terrorist group, and we have Abubakar Abba, deputy leader of Ansaru, and then these people were saying you need to give us our people. That's the leaders. And then according to reports, even the United States or United Kingdom are looking for these 2 individuals because they have done a lot in terms of terrorism, banditry and kidnapping. And now that we still have these people in custody, how do we manage the situation? Because according to the expert, they said the major reason why these people were kidnapped is because they wanted to bargain for the release of their leaders.
Yeah, I think that is where they got it wrong. They will have done it in any other place apart from Southwest. But when you are talking about how we do a lot of it is easy to have intelligent gathering in Southwest because a lot of people know themselves. Even when we have Hamlet in a village, people still can be able to know who are those who are probably not part of them for a very long time. You are talking about strangers. But when you are talking about other places where they brought all this kidnapping, it's a different ball game. The land was masked, and again, when you are talking about how they can be able to relate with peasants who are there, who can be able to give them normal information, it is different. It's different from our place. Mind you, you are talking about the school, the students that were being abducted, and they were live there. There were probably a lot of those that give them information they can be able to extract information from are those who are supplying them information. For you to know that this here where they think they can be able to get what they want, they misplace their priority and they got it wrong. I mean, you have seen a lot of kidnappings that have been happening in the north for a very long time, and money were being collected, and a lot of them even threatening the governor, whereby the governor has, earmarked a certain amount of money every month that is given to them. That is what we see in, that is what was alleged in a place by Bauchi or something or any other place. But in case of Southwest, they got it wrong. And thank God, those their demands were not met. Because how are they going to give it to them anyway? How? It looks impossible.
So how do we put an end to these people demanding for their leaders? Because, I mean, we still have them in the custody.
This is, a lot of them have watched film, probably American film, how they do bargaining. You have seen what is happening in America when you are even talking about Taliban, how they can be able to do some bargaining when you are talking about their leader. It has been on the table for a very long time when you are talking about developed world. Probably that is what they want to copy. But when they want to copy it, how are they going to deliver? These people they talk about, are they in the prison of your state? That's the question. But for you to know that our prison is now getting equipped as well, it's getting fortified. But before, they would have struck any prison that those people were being kept.
They did that actually. Are you aware of the Kuje prison attack? I mean, that was one. Even beyond that, a lot of planned attacks.
Kuje prison was attacked in Abuja, and they can be able to release some prisoner. I'm telling you about Southwest.
I'm telling you as well, because according to report, this member, or let me say this group, tried so much to actually release their members.
That's what I'm saying, that all our prison is being fortified right now. We knew when Abologo prison in Oyo State was attacked as well. But now, it is different ball game right now. Unlike before, they will just attack any prison. They are not going to do any kidnap. If they do any kidnap, they are going to demand for money. But before, they will go there and release their member. We have seen what happened in Okogi in the years past, whereby some of their members were released. But now, it is for you to know that Nigerian government is now fortifying its prison. That is why all those people mentioned cannot be released. It is a welcome development as well, because before it was a funfair when they have to release prisoners all the time, because they believe they know what it takes or how they are going to be able to do it. But now, for them to be demanding a ransom of their exchange for a prisoner, that is when you are going to know that our Internal Affairs Minister is doing a greater job.
All right, let's talk about the time frame now. Personally, when I received the news, I was really happy over the weekend because, I had to consider the motion, or let me say the feelings of the family members and things like that. But some Nigerians are not comfortable with the time frame because it took about 56 days to actually rescue these people. And then they are making reference to the fact that recently an American citizen was abducted, and then it took about 5 days, for the American citizen to get the person out. So what do you make of that? Because some Nigerians are not comfortable with the time frame, how long it took the federal government. Because, kudos to the federal government, kudos to the security operators, the army, the DSS, the police, Amotekun, because they did so well. They were able to rescue these people. But then we had, some persons died in the course of, trying to rescue these people. But then let's talk about the time frame. And what do you make of that argument? Some Nigerians are comparing the 5 days that it took the American government to rescue their citizen, compared to this situation that happened in Nigeria.
When I see a lot of people comparing America with Nigeria, I find it funny. Because a lot of our experts, when you are talking about security apparatus, they have been going to places like Sandals or America or United Kingdom to go and do a lot of study. And as of recent, when you are seeing Iran and United States of America war, we have seen that when a United States of America throw missile, it can cost like probably $40 million or $20 million. And when Iran does its own, it might even cost less than $20,000. you see, that is when you are going to know. Do you think Nigeria has that money to be able to budget for its defense? Let's be sincere with ourselves. You know the percentage of what has been budgeted for a place of America when you are talking about defense.
So it's about money now.
And we have seen that even America bullying NATO when a country like United Kingdom cannot be able to fulfill their obligations, because this is not cheap. And do we have that kind of money to develop all these machinery or all this equipment that we can be able to use?
But we borrow for other purposes.
Borrow or no borrow. That is what we are talking about. When you are talking about America, they know how to scan. We know they can be able to scan any place they want in the world. And they are going to see comfortable in a place like probably Ghana or any, and know what they can be able to do when it comes to Nigeria. We cannot compare ourselves.
Are you saying we are not there yet in terms of intelligence system?
I would say, there was a question, is this kidnapping banditry, is it a cause or a blessing? I would say it's a blessing in a way, because it gives our security agent more technical way of how to go and gather a lot of information out there. Because we are talking, how do you think they secure these people? It is intelligent gathering. They can be able to round up their family and their works. They can be able to say the same thing. The way they are treating Nigeria, that is the way Nigerians are treating them as well. For you to know that they are now developed, you will see a lot of security agencies sitting down and collecting salary just anyhow. Now, a lot of them are doing what they're supposed to have been doing for a very long time. And this is what we want. Because if we are not having this kind of problem, how are we? If you don't have problem, you don't know how to solve it. That is why I said this is the best, one of the best operations that was carried out so far in the history of Nigeria. And we have seen, and we talk about the time frame, we are talking about a lot of things. We are not talking about those security agents that lost their life.
I think I mentioned it earlier.
Because their family are going to be in a sad mode right now. It costs Nigeria. It costs Nigerian government. It costs Nigeria when you are talking about to release security. But for the fact that the children were hale and hearty, and their parents, the teachers, that is something to delight upon. And all those who are doing it, they are going to know it is not the business as usual. Before they will do it and they will collect money.
Okay, let's talk about this too. I think it's very important. Are you aware that some people think this is political? Because according to report and what I read, this is not even a local group. It's an international terrorism, group. And then, according to the governor, I don't know if you've seen that video. He said he declared his bid to run for presidency. Let's assume today, and then tomorrow, the students and the teachers were abducted. What do you make of that statement?
I think Sheyi Makine's statement sometimes is always reckless, because you have not known what has happened. You are predicting or you apprehend what is going to be, what happened, and is what is against him right now, whether you like it or not. I heard that he was not even informed before these people were these abducted pupils were arrested, because you don't need to a secure situation. You don't need to play with, to turn into politics all the time. It shouldn't be political. Every answer has to be on deck. When you are talking about security matters, it has nothing to do with government alone. If people doesn't feed government the right information, they cannot be able to act. You have seen what is happening in a place like United Kingdom, whereby you are going to see all those old women, they give most of the information than any other people. And when you go on trade, when you go on bus, you are going to see, when you see seen it, say it, that whatever you see, you have to give the government, the security apparatus, security agents, you are going to feed them with information. It's only the information that they can be able to act upon. You cannot just think that they are a magic wand that they are going to use. But Sheyi Makinde turning it to political, I think is reckless, and it is not well done. He has to be mindful of his speech in the nearest future to come, because Nigerians are Nigerians. It doesn't mean whether you are Yoruba, whether you are Hausa, whether you are Igbo, any Nigerian that is being kidnapped or is not feeling secured, the government must be able to do something right about it.
All right, let's talk about what the security operatives reported. They said, 8 of this, members were arrested and then the others neutralized. Now, Nigerians are concerned about the 8 that we are arrested now. So how do we undo this matter now to ensure that, in another 2 or 3 months, other people will not come out to say we want to negotiate, we want these people out? Because some are even calling for, why don't you just neutralize others that you arrested? While others are saying, no, don't do that yet. Can you hold on? Let's not be rash. Where do you stand in this?
I know something better is going to come out of it, because all these people are going to divulge a lot of information, since a lot of their family members were known, and I believe these 8 are going to be well known to others, and they can be able to give information on them. As of recent, we heard that even a lot of places of these nefarious people have been they have been known from probably Kwara to the north or any other places, and they have located a lot of where there are black spots, and I think the security agents are working on it, how they are going to be able to fish these people out. They have been working silently. They don't need to divulge information. When every Nigerians are crying about these abducted peoples, we don't even know what the government has done. We have not known how far they have gone. And it was when they were rescued that we know. And these people cannot just be giving us information because of emotion or any other thing to be able to feel about. And I believe there is going to be better information being extracted from these 8 arrested the kidnappers.
So you think it's best to keep them for now?
And they have to keep them. I mean, they are going to pay the price, and when they pay the price, they must be able to extract some information from them before they can be penalized accordingly.
Okay, so how do we dismantle the system? I'm talking about terrorism, banditry, because at the rescue, a lot of persons applaud the government, the security operators, but then how can we put an end to this?
I think the way we are going to put an end to it is when those who did wrong were penalized accordingly. It is not about you giving them a kind of asylum or whatever they are giving them. As of recent, we heard that some army said they cannot be able to work with those people who are giving an amnesty. That why are they going to work with them? Because they are not going to be able to trust them. It is not about amnesty. It is gone beyond amnesty. Anyone that is being catched or arrested must be punished. Even if it's going to, I wish a lot of our states, there are some few states that counted kidnapping as a death penalty. Oyo State is not one of them. I believe those other states must go as far as it is going to be a punishment. And when a lot of them were being captured and they were being dealt with accordingly, I assure you, others do not follow. Okay, so
can we be proactive? And this is why I'm asking this question, because if you look at the environment of that school, a lot of persons felt it was not even safe because, they had no security operatives, looking after the people, looking after the teachers and even the students. And so Nigerians are asking, it appears that there's an attack against education. This is not the first time that these people will attack a school, in Niger and other parts of the country as well. How do we ensure safety, across these schools? Because if you look at some areas, we still have schools, very close to the forest. If you check very well, this is not the Orire is not the first one. We have more schools that are very prone to something like this. So how do we ensure their safety? How can we be proactive? How can we put an end to this to ensure that it's not until these people are kidnapped we are now looking for how to rescue them?
Yeah, we all know that. The innocent people, the innocent ones are the children, and they are prone to be targeted at anywhere in the world where you are talking about where there is unrest or insecurity. I think what Nigeria needs to do is make sure that the security agents are working accordingly. They gather intelligent report. Intelligent report is very necessary, and I believe probably they have been informed. They ignore it or not, and you see, when they talk about people who are foreigners, we have not seen people foreigners on them. We are talking about people from Zamfara, people from Sokoto, people from Katsina. That is what we had. A lot of them are from. So with this, we still have to encourage the security agent, whether we like it or not, because they are working. We have seen in the social media when they are attacking these people how a lot of them lost their life. There's a lot of a lot of killing that has happened. When you are talking about a lot of armed general, all we have to do, encourage them, let them study more, let them study people, let them arrest them. They must not be given any amnesty. Anybody that offended must be dealt with accordingly, because as it is. But with the arrest of finance commissioner in Bauchi State, who has been helping the federal government or the security agents, when you are talking about how the governor of Bauchi is dealing with them, you are going to know that this is going to discourage other governors from following suit. A lot of them have known that now, and they will be so careful when they are dealing with all these terrorists, because they must not be forgiven. They must be dealt with accordingly, according to the law of the land, and be rest assured. A lot of them will have been discouraged now from paying all this mandate.
Okay, I think it's a fine place to leave the discussion. A big thanks to you, Honorable Molaji Olaoye, for being a part of this discussion. We hope that this will help us to solve insecurity permanently. It will not just end here, because we still have other persons in captivity across the nation.
Are we safe as well? We are not. So we are going to be praying so they can be able to know to get their priority right, so they can secure a lot of Nigerians at their home or their workplace.
All right, that's a good one as well. A big thanks to you for being a part of today's big story, and a big thanks to Honorable Molaji Olaoye, APC Steward, for joining us as well. Thank you for being a part of Daybreak Live this morning. My name is Oluwayemi Adelakum. But then we still need to conclude the program, and of course, I know we'll join me on set very soon. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X at Dominioncast. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
There's just one prayer and hope that is in my mind ever since the Orire incident. The rescue mission was successful, and it's simple, that the God that did it for the Oyo state will also do the same for the North. Let's have it all around. Let's not just be celebrating over just one success when there are many other things. We've celebrated, and we should celebrate, as it were. But we also pray that the same thing would apply in Borodo, in Katsina, and many other northeastern states of the country.
Exactly, and then there's this popular quote: a nation is safest not when rescue becomes routine, but when kidnapping becomes impossible. And that's why I asked the question, I asked Mr. Molaji, how can we dismantle the system? Because that's the goal. We need to be more proactive than reactive. And I think it's a fun place to leave the discussion this morning. We hope that all the persons in captive will be rescued soon. My name is Oluwayemi Adelakum. Thank you for joining us today. I'll see you tomorrow.
And I'll briefly say, let's duplicate the efforts as well for every other part of the country. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Anulu Akpoido, saying bye for now.
life.